Welcome into the Wednesday edition. Robby and Rexrode here on 102.5 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home with a $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. I'm Joe Rexrode. Robby Stanley, under the weather today. Ian Safar in producing and helping me carry the show today before Paul Kuharsky comes in. Whenever he comes in, I guess he's supposed to be in the 8 o'clock hour, but he might come in a little earlier today. Ian, how are you?
Good morning, Joe. I am good. How are you?
I'm okay. I mean, microphone one, man. It's not my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, plenty to talk about.
I got two computers here. I'm transitioning to the MacBook that I should have been using for the last
double
2
screen.
years.
It's
I'm double screening.
Double keyboard, all of it.
Yep. So we got that going on. Got a big coffee, and we got a lot to talk about today. Like I said,
did your heat go out on the way in on your car like mine?
No, your heat went out.
Heat went out.
Like the heat does not work in your car.
Like all of a sudden, turn the car on, get going, just cold air.
Ooh,
I'm like, huh? It's interesting.
Has this ever happened before?
No.
That's not good.
Yeah.
This isn't the time of year for that to happen.
Didn't cut on. I was like, huh, okay. It's just cold. I was like, all right, I'll wait a minute. Turn on the heated seats. Those are still working.
Okay. That's
I was
good.
like, all right, I'll wait. Turned it off. Turned it back on. No, still pretty cold. So, yeah, no heat in the car. Came here, turned the car off, turned it back on, tried to see maybe that would kick it on. No dice.
Dang, man.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to maybe look into that after the show.
Yeah, that stinks. I mean, I guess it's good that it's pretty wild to think about, you having heated seats, but no, just actual heat. But yeah. I guess the heated seats.
I guess it runs separately.
Can help.
It helped a little bit.
Help a little. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But yeah, doing good. Another tough one for the Preds last night. I don't know if you saw the end of that.
Another tough one for the Preds, and they're fighting, they're battling, they're hanging in there, and they're doing just enough to lose these close games, of course, to John Hines, the hated John Hines.
Crazy.
Another overtime loss.
Yep. I mean, and the way it happened, this whole the way they called the goal. I don't know if you saw the goalie Onanen knocked off the net trying to make the save, and the puck never went across the line, and yet they awarded the goal. It was just very strange. So it's a tough way to lose. They outplayed Minnesota, I'd say, for a large majority of the second period. Couldn't capitalize. And so tough one for the Preds, but busy day in the trade deadline for the NFL, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, we are going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the Titans, I guess, lack of activity, and get into we got some Tom Brady cloning his dog stuff we can get into too. College football playoff reaction, but I mean, to me, the big thing that stands out here is the New York Jets. I mean, the New York Jets, the Indianapolis Colts, the New York Jets basically saying we are again completely starting over, although I guess they didn't totally trade everybody. It looked like maybe every single good player they have was going to be out the door. But the Indianapolis Colts and the Jets make a deal that, frankly, I find to be pretty wild. The Colts send 2 first-round picks to the Jets for Sauce Gardner, essentially. That is the deal.
And they did give wide receiver AD Mitchell.
They had to get AD Mitchell out of there after he dropped that ball at the goal line. So I saw some Jets fans like, oh my God, we got the guy who dropped the ball at the goal line. But yeah, and then of course Quinnen Williams. Again, I mean, they're certainly the 2 best defensive players. Goes to the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are doing interesting things too. They send a 27 first, a 26 second, and they send Mozzie Smith, who has not been good. Of course, the Cowboys got picks back for the Micah trade, but the Colts thing to me, Ian, is really, I mean, that's what stands out. I mean, first of all,
they're going for it.
You're going for it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have thought that's the thing that you need to go for it. Like that's I mean, obviously he's a great player. You're going to be better because of it. 2 first-round picks is rich. But another thing about this is, this means, I mean, you have him long term too. I mean, he's locked up.
Yeah, he signed that new deal.
But
it's expensive, but he's a good player.
Right. But also, I mean, to me, when you do this and you get rid of draft capital like that, I mean, I think you're saying that you think you found your quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Long term, right? I mean, I it's hard for me to interpret it any other way.
Like they're going to lock him in for, the next 4 or 5 year deal. Whatever. I mean,
I have to think so. And it's interesting, of course, the timing on this is after he had a turnover festival against Pittsburgh. Doesn't undo what he's done this year. He's been very good, but I just, I just wonder if that's the way to go. Now, they've been in the quarterback wilderness for a long time. They went through that stretch where every year they're, okay, let's try Matt Ryan. Okay, let's try Carson Wentz. Let's try Phillip Rivers.
And Jones is younger than all those guys. So
yeah, I mean,
we'll give him that.
Look, if what he is so far this year is essentially what you're going to get, then I'm fine with it. I just, I mean, it is possible that that's not the case, right? I mean, Giants Daniel Jones, Colts Daniel Jones, 2 very different people. I just, it's a big step. I guess I'd be interested to hear from our resident Colts fans who listen to the show on what you think about this. I mean,
well, they're all in.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, you have to be all in. But I do wonder if there's any
the fans are all
hesitation, if there are any misgivings about, especially about 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. I mean, like on its own, take the quarterback part out of it.
1 first-round pick, right? That seems fair since Sauce Gardner was what, 4th or 5th overall? He was a pretty high pick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to get rid of 1 first-round pick for Sauce Gardner makes sense. The second one is asking a lot.
But even the one, I mean, this is what happens in this league. It's just like driving a new car off a lot. Like as soon as you drive a new car off a lot and you pay that player and that player's gotten older, I mean, that people value their first round picks.
No doubt.
So now again, he's a great player. So yes, I have no problem with the first for him because he's a great player. And you have, I mean, like he's going to be a big part of their defense moving forward. I
do think they needed a number 1 corner. They got is it Kenny Moore, the slot guy, who's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't
a need for them.
They weren't great there. Yes, I agree. But to me, it's like
they must really think he was like a missing piece of the defense. I believe it was, I can't remember. I saw it on social, someone breaking it down. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Mina Kimes. But the way the Colts play, how they get out to leads right now, the way the offense is going, it's almost like they're banking on the offense kind of clicking, getting out to an early lead and kind of playing from ahead and letting the defense kind of play, passing game kind of stuff. And this way they needed somebody to help on the edge. So, or at least on the corner there.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's fine. He's a great player. He's going to be good there. No question. I guess to me, like we just talked yesterday about like the Jalen Ramsey move that happened 6 years ago and helped the Rams win it all. I guess to me, if I'm giving up 2 firsts, like I'm doing that for like a Micah Parsons kind of player, an edge player who just wrecks a game, or, a game breaking receiver. That's just no disrespect to Sauce. He's very good. I'm sure it'll work out. It's just, man, it's rich. And it is very much signing up to say Daniel Jones is the future of the Indianapolis Colts. If you're a Colts fan and you're comfortable with that after a couple months of really good football, and that's fine, I do think it's I think it's quite a risk. So that's the big news from yesterday. And again, Quinn and Williams, I mean, the Jets are just that kind of fire sale. The Jets are just, yeah. I know. I think it was one of those guys. It was either Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall who was like tweeting out like some pretty funny stuff, like kind of like looking around.
Where is everybody?
Yeah, what's going to
The
happen?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air kind
It
of
wasn't
thing.
that one. That one is a very popular one. There was another one where it was like someone like kind of minding their own business, like at work. Yeah, it was, I mean, it's got
Hey,
to
don't
be.
bother. I'm just here doing my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess. All those guys couldn't be moved out. I guess Aaron
So
Glenn's fine too. I mean, like Aaron Glenn.
So if they say kind of doubling down on Aaron Glenn here, apparently those guys didn't mesh with the coaching staff. Quinnen Williams, I guess, and him didn't mesh, and some bashing of the heads there.
Yeah.
And the coach prevails over the player. So I guess, that's kind of the formula moving forward for them. I guess that means the battle for the number one pick gets a little bit more interesting, huh?
Well, there is that too. The Jets are going to make it very, very difficult.
The Saints too, right?
For them to win any games. The Saints are in there too, and
they traded Shaheed and Penning, their offensive line.
Yep.
Yeah, the wide receiver and offensive lineman. So they've lost a couple of players too.
Right. So the Titans end up really just moving Draymond Jones here at the end. And look, if you're a Titan, we'll get into this, but if you're a Titans fan looking around at Quinnen Williams, you had to wonder, okay, what was Jerry Jones willing to give up for Jeffrey Simmons? Did those conversations happen? Was Quinnen Williams their
First
backup?
Choice.
Yeah. What was Quinnen Williams? Okay, I guess we'll move on to the Jets because the Titans aren't trading Jeff Simmons. And you see what Jerry Jones gave up for that, and if that's the case, I think it's fair to wonder about that and maybe be upset. Again, that's speculation, but clearly the Cowboys very much in the market for trying to stop having a terrible rush defense and bolster themselves up front. Hit us up at the game phone text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, 615-737-1025. Jordan from Franklin, who is one of our resident Colts fans, says Sauce is a very big difference maker in Lou Anarumo's scheme. We're getting healthy. Oh, yeah. And let's not forget we gave a first rounder for Trent Richardson in 2014 and DeForest Buckner. Yeah. Buckner worked out. Richardson, not so much. But we are gonna get into the Titans and where they stand now, because yes, that's exactly where they're in a race to get the number one pick. Because if they get it, then the Jets have to deal with that. But if the Jets end up with the worst record plus all their extra first round picks, they can get their quarterback and they can load up after that. So we'll get more into that. Robby and Rexrode 1025 1063 the game.
It gives them, if Sauce Gardner is who he was early in his career, it gives them one of the best secondaries, if not the best secondaries in that conference. This is a young man that was a defensive rookie of the year. And if you pair him with healthy Mooney Ward and then Cam Bynum and Blackman and Kenny Moore, this is a lockdown group. And I would tell you that pass coverage is just as much as rush when it comes to impacting an offense and quarterbacks. Here's going to be the challenge. While he's a very talented player, the penalties over the last 2 years are up. He top 5 in both defensive pass interference and holding. So for the Colts and Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, if they can get that just out of his game, they want to play man coverage. He's as creative as anybody. This could be the best secondary in the AFC.
That was ESPN's Dan Orlovsky on the Sauce Gardner to Colts trade. Again, 2 first-round picks, and the Jets just absolutely selling off. And the Colts, again, to me, I just have to look at it like, I mean, look, they're the AFC's number 1 seed right now. Obviously, it's a go-for-it move this year. But also, I have to look at this like when you give up that kind of draft capital, you're not just saying we're going for it this year. I mean, I mean,
the team is pretty solid.
They're solid. But,
overall,
like, do you think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Do I think? No, I wouldn't pick them to win the Super Bowl, but you never know.
You never know, but I mean,
they're playing as well as anybody in the AFC, right?
Yeah, before last week. I mean,
yeah,
they had
a little bit of a down week.
And that happens. But it's like, they've had.
If they can find a way, if they can find a way to be the number 1 seed in the AFC and not have to travel and stay in the dome,
Yeah.
I don't know. I give them a chance.
Give them a chance.
Yeah.
But I still.
But you got Taylor in his prime, right? You probably could use a wide receiver upgrade maybe next year, considering Pittman, I think, is about to be a free agent. What that means, you got Warren, a young tight end. The offensive line seems solid.
Offensive line's good. Warren is a great pick, and I mean, I like their team. They have good players. Warren, I think, is going to be great. Taylor is great. Taylor's great. They're good on D. How much
the division seems pretty open.
Well, the division's terrible. We know they're winning the division by a mile. I mean, that's the division's terrible, but the AFC, I guess the Patriots are an upstart.
Well, I mean,
team
what are you going to
too.
do if you don't have Mahomes or Josh Allen? You're supposed to just call it a day.
No, but you don't have to give up 2 first-round picks for a corner. I mean, there's a big gap between calling it a day and giving up 2 first-round picks for a cornerback, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, look, hey, if Colts fans are all excited about this, I mean, look, I think fans for the most part, when you get to the trading deadlines, there's a lot more excitement when your team does something than when your team doesn't, like the teams, some people, I mean, I don't know, are Jets fans excited that they're just totally fire sailing their best players on defense? I mean, they're loading up picks for whatever that's worth. I mean,
I don't know.
They already started a rebuild a few years ago. They've actually had some tremendous picks and drafts.
Well, they're probably
and it's
excited.
added up to nothing but just selling them off and getting more picks.
Mm-hmm. They're probably excited to try and use these picks for a quarterback, but they've tried that before.
Yeah, exactly.
It hasn't worked out.
Yeah, they'll keep taking
trying,
swings.
and now they have all these picks. So, people love to talk about the draft and the hope and having all the picks and what it could mean for the future. So they'll probably feel okay about it, considering where the season is anyways right now.
Yeah, and, like K-Dot on the YouTube chat says, the Colts are going to lose week 1 of the playoffs. Jones will be last year's Darnold. And, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, too. It's like Darnold has been so good this year. Do you look back at the end of last year any differently? He played poorly in a crazy environment in Detroit against a really good team, and on that night the Lions offense put so much pressure on them. The Lions blitzed the heck out of Darnold, and they got the better of the Vikings on that night. And then he wasn't great in the playoff, but he's been so good this year. But it just doesn't mean that that's going to be the case with Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is really good, but I don't know if I'm committing all of what they really are committing to him right now at this point, but they are. So look, if you're a Colts fan going into this year, I mean, I assume expectations were realistically, like, can you get second in the division?
Yeah,
Because
wild
everybody
card. Yeah.
everybody thought the Texans were going to win the division, and now we're sitting here talking about a number one seed, all in, putting all the chips in. I guess the AFC, it just depends on how wide open you think the AFC is. I still think I would take the Bills on any field against the Colts in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I would take the Chiefs on any field in the playoffs against the Colts, and I would do the same thing with the Ravens. And I understand they're 3-5. You look at the Ravens' schedule; they're going to. I mean, I would put those three teams. I think I would take any of them in a playoff game. It's the Colts. That's just me.
I would agree.
But to your point, it's like if you have an opportunity like this, do you sit back? It's just 2 first-rounders. We'll see with Sauce Gardner. Like, he's got to be great.
This next first rounder will be, towards the back half, you would think. So it's still valuable for a first round pick, but it's not, I guess, D-Mace Derek was talking about this on DVD yesterday. Sauce Gardner, him being as highly drafted where he was, how much does that affect the price, regardless of how he's playing now? Like, does that erase, like, oh, hey, he's a top 5 pick? Does that erase? So, does it? I don't know.
I think once you get in the league, it's what you are, right? And he's been good.
So really he was trying to claim that if you're a top 5 pick, you demand a higher asking price in general, just because you're probably that much of a talent.
I mean, but there's a bunch of top 5 picks who are terrible, and they wouldn't have demanded anything, right?
True, but he's not.
Well, right. But I think once you get in the league, it's what you are, right? I guess I don't. I'd have to hear exactly what he said, but I don't buy that. I think once you get in the league, then what you are determines your value. A lot of response on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com about this as it relates to the Titans. Brian says, with the lack of moves the Titans made, we're living in a time where the Jets organization is a better franchise than the Titans. I'm not sure that, like, again, drafting really talented players, having really high-level draft success with guys like Sauce Gardner, Quinn Williams, and other guys who are still there, like Garrett Wilson. I'm not sure trading them off makes you a better organization than anybody, okay? I understand, like, right now the Jets are loading up, that like they're getting – but, if the Titans had traded off Jeff Simmons, then we'd be talking about, okay, good, so you got whatever you got. And now, how many good football players do you have that are good football players moving forward for your team?
And the Jets have to replace their 2 good players. Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams were both like all-pro guys.
Right.
They've drafted them the first time, so maybe you can draft them again.
Maybe.
You would hope. But you never know. I mean, and there's a lot of busts in the top 10, as we've seen.
Right. I mean, you are asking them to continue to draft at that level. And by the way, go get your quarterback. So I don't know that I buy that. Jets fans, Texter says, Jets fans, we traded one of the best interior defensive linemen first round pick. I wonder what we could get with that first round pick. Maybe an elite interior defensive lineman. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, how good is Sauce right now? Joe from Maryland asks, is it the name more than production? Yeah, people are talking about like how many picks. He's good. Sauce Gardner is a really good player. Okay, he has not been like a disappointment in the NFL. He is one of the best corners in the NFL. And yeah, if it's a scheme fit there in Indy, I'm not saying it doesn't make a difference. That is rich for a corner at all in my mind. So we'll see. Chip from Mount Juliet said, it's just sad to see a team like Indy building a team the right way, added a veteran quarterback, realized their mistake with Richardson, solid free agents, owners engaged in the team. Yeah. I mean, look, these are all fair points. You're a Titans fan looking at them, and that is the thing. It's like I just mentioned Darnold. It's too late now, but, that was a guy who I think warranted more consideration from the Titans than he apparently got. And if he goes on, again, we'll say it's like, we'll wait and see what he does in the playoffs. We'll wait and see what Daniel Jones does in the playoffs, but there is something to be said. The best quarterback play the Titans have had in the past 20 years, basically. Yeah. In the past 20 years was a guy off the scrap heap. So there's probably a lesson in that. When we come back, We will get more into the Titans and where things stand now after a relatively quiet trading deadline. Robby and Rexrode 1025 the game. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode 1025 the game. Paul Kuharsky being a little later. We'll get heavily into the Titans and the trading deadline fallout and things like that. But Ian Safar, they only trade Draymond Jones. So let's see, who all do we talk about the Titans possibly trading? Chig,
Ridley,
Okonkwo, Calvin Ridley,
Pollard.
Tony Pollard, and that is something we need to get into here, which I guess on the heels of the Amy Adams Strunk discussion, something that came out of New England in that regard. Tony Pollard, Arden Key,
maybe Zeitler we brought up at one point.
Yeah, I know Lions fans are like, why didn't you go bring Zeitler back home? Even though he has not played well for the Titans, but
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, and obviously Simmons, it didn't happen. I'd love to know if and maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't.
Jerry,
if the Titans had any discussions with Jerry Jones about Jeff Simmons, and
if you're Dallas, who would you rather have?
Yeah, I mean, I do think
who's the better player right now. I
think Jeff Simmons has played this year, played as well as anyone.
That's true.
Now Quentin Williams, I guess. The clear, and they got Kenny Clark too, and that deal with Parsons. I think they were 31st, or they were basically bottom of the league last year in rush defense. Mm-hmm. Clearly, they're trying to fix that. You do have to fix that. I mean,
they brought in the linebacker from Cincy, Wilson.
Right. It's important in this league to not let teams just run on you at will, which is what teams have been doing to Dallas. So maybe Quentin Williams is a little bit better of a player if that is your if that's
goal,
the focus. I think Simmons, especially this year, a little bit more dynamic as a playmaker. But either way, I like either one of them. Whatever one of them gets as a return, that's basically, to me, about what the other one is going to get. So, again, we've talked about how Charles Robinson, who, of course, will be on the show tomorrow, said around the league, a lot of people were not looking at Jeff Simmons as someone who would bring a first back, but all you need is that one team. And it appears that Dallas could have been that one team. Again, maybe stylistically, they just like Quentin Williams more. He was their first choice. They never even had a discussion. But you have to think along those lines, right? You have to think about the possibility when that kind of move is made at that position that the Titans potentially had that sort of opportunity as well. Ed on the text line says, wow, thank you, Ed. He says, your ability at your age to command mic one and monitor both the text and chat lines while transitioning from your Wooby is truly impressive.
Double computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double computers going
working
here.
The text line.
That was on the text line.
Liners, papers, got the YouTube chat.
I got different chats on different computers. So now I can go to my new little MacBook that I'm trying to figure out. And
which she's making progress, people. You would be very proud.
Yeah. No, I actually can turn it on. My password works. I mean, I actually had Adam Vingan. I met him out for coffee so he could teach me how to use a MacBook. I couldn't even I couldn't get into it. I didn't know the password. It was very embarrassing. Richard Snyder says on the 2 first rounds of the Colts says, yeah, it's usually only 16 players of the first round grade, so it's truly a couple of second rounders. Well, okay. I mean, that sometimes is the case. That sometimes isn't the case. Also says from the draft development retained to bargain shopping for free agents, third year of Temu Titans incoming. Yeah. Well, look, Titans are going to draft. They have draft picks. So the draft develop retain plan is in place. But yeah, look, they're going to have to do a lot in free agency too. They're going to have to do a lot in general. I don't know that, again, anything other than Simmons was going to, going to change the math that much. It's just you're stockpiling some day 3 picks that, again, you can put together and maybe get up to a 4th or whatever. I mean, it's not nothing. Together. But nothing was gonna change the math that much. And again, I feel like you still need to, even if you're, again, even the Jets still have some good football players. I mean, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, some of those guys are still there. You have to have some players you move forward with. So I don't think it's a bad thing for the Titans to still have like a guy like Chig, even a guy like Jihad Ward. There was another guy who was talked about. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
He's been a nice little, development this year. We'll see where that goes, long term, but you have to keep some football players. But there was this this is from Mike Giardi. Okay. Let me make sure if I can, I'm switching computers here. So bear with me. So Mike Giardi covers the Patriots. I want to make sure I get the outlet. I think he has worked for so he works for Boston Sports Journal. And essentially he wrote that, he wrote about some different things that the Patriots were looking for, but also I'll just quote what he wrote here in the Boston Sports Journal. Quote, I was told there's been some conversation league-wide that Tennessee might be unwilling to make deals with New England because the owner, Amy Adams Strunk, continues to think too much about how things end with Vrabel and is not inclined to help his new team. We'll find out soon enough with the likes of edge Arden Key, running back Tony Pollard, and even wide receiver Calvin Ridley available, end quote. So this is conversation league-wide. Look, it's very easy to pile on to Amy right now, but I want to be fair, I mean, this is somewhat speculative. There's been some conversation league-wide. So, okay.
Chatter.
Yeah, so is that sounds like people speculating. Like, I wonder. Like, if someone's reporting Amy Adams Strunk is not dealing with Vrabel, that's a totally different thing, and that's ridiculous. Obviously, that would be completely insane to to cut yourself off from potentially helping your team, your franchise, because you're still mad at Mike Vrabel. I look at that, and I think you have to take it for what it is. Some conversation league-wide that Tennessee might be unwilling. This is something I'll definitely throw at Kuharsky later. But
I wouldn't be surprised if it were true, though. But
yeah, I mean, look,
just knowing how it went down,
but again, it's like,
how she already feels like they have egg on the face. Everybody in the league kind of rips them for making the decision to fire Vrabel, and he's going to New England, and he's turning the team around so quickly. And I don't know. I could see it.
Right, but then if you actually are going to do this, you look way worse, don't you? I mean, look, this league, people fire and hire people in this league all the time. They have conflicts, they move on.
Yeah.
And if you're making a deal with the Patriots, isn't the point that you're helping yourself? Like you need to get draft capital.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't think Tony Pollard, like, look, I don't think Tony Pollard has a ton left. He had a pretty good game last time out. I don't know how much he really would have mattered to the Patriots. I understand it hasn't been great with Travion Henderson. Obviously they have Ramondre Stevenson. There's been injuries, but I just, I don't know, like, giving them, Tony Pollard for a draft pick, to me, you're changing the math of the Patriots there. I mean, to me, be the bigger person and say, yeah, I mean, we're going to all be professionals. There's 32 teams. Let's deal. And also, if this is true, again, it's the worst kind of ownership, which is, as we talked about a ton yesterday, totally in the background, totally out of the public eye, not accountable publicly, but
Puppet
then
master.
meddling with like, if you're Mike Borg, if this were true, and I have my doubts, again, the way that's framed, it just sounds like speculation. But if it were true, think about being Mike Borgonzi and being like, okay, so I can't even, like, I have a hand tied behind my back because the owner's pissed off at the last coach. What? Really? It's the National Football League. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Okay.
And maybe I shouldn't. Maybe there should be no benefit of the doubt on this one. But that's just that's hard for me to buy, man.
Yeah.
Brian
Your
says
logic
she's the
makes
new
sense.
Dan Snyder. Well, I will say, Brian, I mean, you mentioned about Dan Snyder. There's some stuff that went on with Dan Snyder that, that's
is not
above
happening
and beyond,
here.
what probably you can put on any owner in this league, but it's not good. And the thing is, even if it is speculation, this is kind of also what you've bought yourself if you're Amy Adams Strunk too, right? It's like,
people aren't going to give you a lot of the benefit.
They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and they're going to assume the worst.
Yeah,
which is not a great place to be. Texter asking, y'all spent too much time on this report. It's tabloid work. Well, look, Mike Jardy's is a legitimate reporter. He's covered them for a long time. I mean, the phrasing is important. Some conversation around the league. I mean, the phrasing matters there. It's not a report. And by the way, we've spent like 5 minutes talking about it. But when we come back, we are going to get back into the Titans later. Kuharsky will be here soon, I believe. But also, we want to talk a little bit about those college football playoff rankings. Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Today on Totally Hits, 93.3 catch MTSU men's basketball as the Blue Raiders take on Milligan at 10:30 a.m. Coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Welcome back into Robby and Rexrode. We will get to college football playoff rankings, but there is a lot of reaction to what the Titans did and didn't do at the deadline. May and may not have said or thought or done in relation to the New England Patriots. But we got Mark on the phone line driven by WilsonCountyHigh.com. Mark, what's up?
Yeah, you need to address me as your friend, Mark. Joe.
My friend Mark. My friend Mark in Nashville. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Joe, how you doing? Joe,
Good.
you could have called me. You could have called me this morning, man. I didn't know you were going to be by yourself. I would have gladly come in and filled in for Robby. We could have made this show happen, Joe.
Could have made sweet music.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing it now. You're helping the show now.
Oh, okay, then. Yeah, Joe, I want to talk to you about the rankings last night. I kind of disagreed with the rankings. You kept Ohio State at number one. Really, who was Ohio State beat, Joe? Other than Texas, they had a lot of big games that they played in. I thought they should have failed to number three. Put Indiana first because Indiana had the big road win against Oregon. And then I thought Texas A&M should have been second because their strength of schedule is more stronger than what Ohio State's is. And I thought you should have put Ohio State back at three, along with Alabama and the rest of the way. But Vanderbilt, I thought, suffered for that loss there. I thought Vanderbilt should have won that game, Joe. They played a great game, but that win over LSU hurt Vanderbilt. So I think they kind of fell out of the playoffs with that loss there. But yeah, man, next time you gotta be by yourself, Joe. Just call me, man. I'll take off work and gladly come over there and help you, man. I want to get on that radio, Joe. So it's no problem, man. But good talking to you, Joe. Doing a good job, man.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. And yeah, we may have to call in Mark out of the bullpen next time. So as I sit here and fumble around microphone one with my two computers.
That's right.
Okay. Couple things there. First of all, I wrote a column in The Athletic last night that I actually kind of agree with Mark, but actually I said Texas A&M should be over Indiana as the two. I mean, I hear you on Ohio State, Texas, although the Texas win now looks better. Texas is, I think, the 11th. So that win has gained value. Some of this is eye test, and there's always going to be that. If you've watched Ohio State play this year, I think they're the best team. But, I mean, to his point, Indiana has better wins, especially the win at Oregon. I think Texas A&M you can make a case for them as number one. They have the number one strength of record. This record strength metric is supposed to be so important with the committee, and it ends up, not mattering in these first rankings. I don't agree, in terms of Vanderbilt being done. I mean, that's just, they're 16th right now. They're fine. I mean, it comes down to, things are going to happen. And if they win the next two games, then they're going to be in position to make the playoff if they win at Tennessee. A 10-2 Vanderbilt with that win at Tennessee at the end is in the playoff, and I'm very confident in saying that. And again, some of that is there's a lot of games to come here. There's a lot of losses to be suffered here by a lot of these other teams that are in the mix. But I'm confident in saying that. I don't think it's a problem for Vanderbilt to be at 16 right now, and that might be a little bit disappointing for Commodores fans, but they're fine. They're in position. You just have to, you got to deal with this week in particular, to me, Ian, which is, Auburn is a talented team. They got a lot of good football players. They just fired their coach. Sometimes, a team falls flat after that. Sometimes a team gets a
little bump.
Pissed off bump. No one expects anything. Oh, and by the way, Vanderbilt is this ranked team now. We have a chance to go. They beat us in our place last year. Diego Pavia beats us every year, whatever team he's on. Handle this week. And then you get a week off and you prepare for Kentucky. And I think you're going to be in position to have a win and in game in Knoxville.
Yeah.
But this week is
interesting to see how they bounce back.
This week is interesting. The other thing
following the loss.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Another thing with the playoff this week, I guess another thing I had a problem with was Notre Dame at 10, Miami at 18. It's just, you got an 8-spot gap between the team that beat another team. Miami beat Notre Dame. It was early, but they beat Notre Dame, and their win over Notre Dame is better than any win Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame's best win is at home against USC. I think that's their best win. I know they're playing better, and they're going to be in if they win out. I think, by the way, Notre Dame at Pitt next week is one to really keep an eye on. But I just I don't think they got that right when you talk about that kind of gap. I know Miami just lost to SMU, but that should be very close. Head to head doesn't,
Miami's had some bad losses though lately, right?
Well,
is the recency? Do they?
They've lost 2 games. They lost to Louisville at home,
and then they just lost to SMU.
They just lost at SMU. So yeah, like again, I don't have a problem head to head.
That was Miami's first game outside of Florida, was it not?
I think that's correct.
I think I read that somewhere.
Yes.
And that's not a good sign when you finally get a test on the road for the first time and you lose. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Miami's falling, and they should be falling. And Carson Beck throwing that terrible pick in the overtime session. They still should have beat SMU. They blew it. It's disappointing. I guess it's probably more the Notre Dame being 10 that I'm a little bit like, yeah.
You think that's a little too high?
Again, like their best win is USC. I mean,
would you have put somebody else there?
Well, I think they. I mean, yeah, you look through the rankings. I mean, there's probably a few teams that I'd put ahead of them right now.
Yeah, just swap a little bit, move up, move back.
Yeah, I mean, I might have Miami a little bit higher, Notre Dame a little bit lower. I don't have a problem with Notre Dame being above them, even though they lost. Head to head doesn't overtake everything. Of course, it doesn't. But I'm a little disappointed in that one. But overall, I mean, we're going to complain every week about these rankings. I don't have like massive complaints about them, frankly. I mean, it's a lot of these things are going to be sorted out. So
it's just a little bit confusing, the whole rankings versus who's actually in.
Right. So, for example, that's another thing that I guess I could complain about. Yeah, I can keep
Texas is 11th in the top 25, but number 11, Virginia, is at number 6, Ole Miss, according to the matchup thing.
Right, because you still have to have your conference champion.
So it's confusing for some people.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
And also there's no group of 5 teams were ranked, but Memphis, the committee identified Memphis as the
12th.
best one, so they're the 12 seed. So
at Georgia right now.
Right. In the current bracket.
Yeah, in the current bracket.
So if you go through the bracket, and again, it's like does it really matter? Like Texas, A&M, Ohio State? No. Like if it ended today, then they're all getting buys, and that's the one thing they changed this year that is absolutely better, which is the fact that the fact that just the top 4 get the buys, not you don't have to be a conference champ. So the 4 buys go to Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Texas A&M.
Were you surprised Ohio State was number 1?
No, I was not, and I can hear the argument for Indiana over them. I can hear the argument for Texas A&M over them, but no. I mean, look, Washington's a ranked team. They blew them out on the road. Illinois is a good team, disappointing, but a good team. Blew them out on the road. So I think they've proved themselves. So right now you'd have Texas Tech 8. You'd have 9 Oregon at Texas, 8 Texas Tech. You'd have 12 Memphis at 5 Georgia, 10 Notre Dame at 7 BYU, and 11 Virginia, as you said, at 6 Ole Miss.
What about those matchups in general? Entertaining enough for you?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. Yeah, I mean, this will all change, but sure, I have no problem with that. All right, we come back. I do have a lot of reaction to the Titans Patriots thing. We'll get to that, and hopefully Paul Kuharsky will be here soon. Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Second hour, Wednesday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 125 the game. I am Joe Rexrode. Robby under the weather today. Paul Kuharsky is on his way. He should be here soon enough. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. And if you'd like to join the conversation, hit us up on the game phone or text line 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHunt.com. Kuharsky is saying, hold on to the past conversation. Well, look, man. I mean, people are, here's a great, Ian. Here's a great, contrast here. We have Richard on the YouTube chat talking about the Mike Giardi. Again, for those who didn't hear, which computer did I have it up on? I don't know.
That's a
go.
good question.
Let's try the left one. Okay, the left computer, the old one that I need to treat like that copier in Office Space. Yeah. So again, this is the quote is quote. I was also told there's been some conversation league-wide that Tennessee might be willing to make deals
league-wide
with the New England Patriots, with New England, because the owner, Amy Armstrong, continues to think too much about how things end with Vrabel and is not inclined to help his new team, end quote. Again, I was told there's been some conversation league-wide. So I was told that there's people around the league saying, gosh, I wonder if Amy Armstrong just hates Vrabel. I mean, that may be it. I speculated that. And so on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunt.com, Robert says, Joe works for the Titans. She's absolutely the type of owner to do some of those. Again, Robert, I didn't say she isn't. I didn't say she wouldn't. I don't work for the Titans. I mean, I know we definitely cover for the Titans a lot on this show. We certainly make a lot of excuses for them on this show. You finger on the pulse there. But no, I'm not saying that. I also read the wording of that, and I'm like, okay, so is this just like...
It leaves it open, for sure.
It sounds, a little bit like you're gossiping around the sewing circle. I mean,
maybe someone with the Patriots is like, I wonder if they've been a little hesitant to reach out to us and trade with us or something.
But again, but if anybody the Patriots is going to utter something like this, they better have reached out themselves, right? Like if you're going to utter something like that, you better have been rebuffed by them and wonder why.
Yeah.
Now, Richard on the YouTube chat says, this sounds like built-in covering for Vrabel from the New England media. Okay, so everything's got to be, somebody's got to be, it's got to be a conspiracy. Someone's got to be in bed with somebody. It can never just be like, someone doing their job or anything like that. It's got to be some, I mean, covering for Vrabel? You didn't get Tony Pollard, you son of a, you're only 7-2 and you couldn't get us Arden Key? How dare you, Vrabel? I'm sure people are just up in arms up there at Vrabel right now. I mean, come on. I think neither of these things. I mean, look, I'm interested to hear what Kuharsky says about it. So I guess I can hold on.
He's tweeting about it.
Okay, so he just sent it. Did he just send this?
Yeah, tweet? I think he just sent you a link to his tweet. It says the Titans did not pass on any attractive offers from the Patriots in favor of something else. Amy Armstrong deserves to be blasted for plenty. We don't need to add stuff that did not unfold.
That's basically kind of how I read it earlier. Apparently Paul also works for the Titans now. So again, Amy Armstrong deserves all kinds of criticism. We spent like an hour yesterday, and it wasn't even like a topic that was supposed to be about her, right? I mean, like Robby came up with the topic of, just Titan fans, basically, how you doing? How you feeling? And it turned into basically an hour of ripping.
Of grievances.
Yeah, exactly. A very festivus Amy Armstrong rip fest. So fine. I mean, it's totally fair. Like Paul said, this thing just, again, I respect Mike Giardi. I mean, he's done this for a long time. And I mean, the wording is like the wording tells you. I mean, he's not saying he's reporting this, but it also is one of those things where it's like, did that need to be? If there's really nothing to it, if there's no report here, did that need to even be, thrown out there?
Just twist the knife a little.
It's a little bit of red meat.
A little petty.
So, look, you can believe what you want to believe, but it seems a little flimsy, right? Craig says, if that's the case, and Amy's willing to sabotage her team for the sake of being petty, she can stay her clueless ass in Houston and let someone else run the team. Right. Well, she is in Houston, and she is, I think, letting other people run the team. This would be the worst kind of meddling, right? To delegate, stay out of the public eye, not even put your name on press releases, but then also saying, by the way, you can't deal with Vrabel. It's just hard for me to buy because, again, what you're doing there potentially is hurting your own team. And also, I think you would look worse. If this were true and there were a report about this and there was something more than this sort of like, there's some league-wide talk that maybe, who knows, like if there was actually a report on this, you know how bad, like you would look way worse. It would be a huge win for Vrabel over you. Mm-hmm. Another huge win for Vrabel over you. Even on top of him, possibly being NFL Coach of the Year with the Patriots this year.
Just cementing where you are as far as your perception in the league and all that kind of stuff. For sure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So
hopefully it's not true. And then this way we can just, move on to how they're going to field the rest of the team this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get Kuharsky's thoughts on it, but I think he's made it pretty clear with that tweet. Meanwhile, the Titans didn't do a ton. Draymond Jones for that. Now that is that I think
got the conditions on that.
Two sacks. Is it 2 sacks in the playoffs?
Correct. 2 sacks for Draymond Jones, and the Ravens have to make the playoffs, and it moves from a 5th to a 4th.
That's a pretty good deal for the Titans, I would say. That's
considering you just signed him on a 1 year 10 mil, right, in the offseason.
Yeah, that's
to flip him for a pick.
To get that to be a 4th. I really like the Ravens' chances of getting the playoffs. I understand they started 1-5. I really like their chances. And 2 sacks. Yeah, I could.
That's definitely doable for the Ravens.
I'd expect him to be able to pull that off.
He'll probably do that against the Browns in one game.
That is true. There are some bad offensive lines out there that he'll be seeing. So, and
the Bengals for that matter.
That's right. So, so that works out to be a pretty good deal, but not a lot else. And then, we've got Titans fans who are actually saying they're jealous of the Jets. I mean, the Jets, the Jets are just completely cleaning house. Now, look, the thing about the Jets is the Jets have more like really good players to offer, right? The Jets have had some really good drafts. Titans have had bad drafts. That's a huge part of why they're bad. The Jets have had some really good drafts. It's why it's infuriating that they would be, like when Aaron Rodgers, I remember a couple years ago, it's like, this is like one of the best defenses in the league. They're good at every level. And you got Aaron Rodgers, and there should be, there were high expectations.
Still have a top wide receiver.
And so now you are, you're just taking that and you're just blowing it up again. So I understand if you're a Titans fan, you see the Jets like, man, see, they're selling off their parts, getting all these picks. They did have more to give. I mean, Quinnen Williams and Jeff Simmons, that's the obvious comparison. And the obvious question of, okay, like, was this something the Titans could have done? And should they have done it if they could have done it with the Cowboys?
But the Jets had a stretch there where they had some really high picks, that the Titans haven't been able to afford in a stretch. I mean, they went Jamal Adams 6th overall, Sam Darnold 3rd overall, Quinnen Williams 3rd overall, Mekhi Becton 11th overall, Zach Wilson 2nd overall, Sauce Gardner 4th overall. Like, the Titans haven't had a stretch like that maybe ever. Right. As far as being high picks like that. So I guess if you're the Jets, at least you didn't whiff.
Well, you're perennially bad. Yeah, other than on Zach Wilson there.
True.
But yeah, no, that's the thing. They've drafted well. Now they have, new GM. So, 1-7 right now. So the Jets have 2 first rounders this coming draft. They have 3 first rounders in 2027.
Arch Manning to the Jets, huh?
So we're back to that? So we're back to Arch Manning?
We're back, baby. What do you mean? We never left.
Well, I mean, people way overestimate Arch Manning. Then, it was he will never take a snap in the NFL. Now we're back to Arch.
Oh, we're back.
Okay. Yeah. It's funny because I'm reading Jeff Howe wrote this story for us, and he said when Arch Manning's expected to be eligible, for whatever that's worth, he might be the 8th quarterback picked in the draft, but there you go. But still, 2 first rounders in the next draft, 3 in the one after that. So that sounds great. But also, are you going to keep hitting like they've been hitting? You just rattled off their hits. They've got a lot of hits.
Those aren't going to be top 5 picks,
and they're
most likely
terrible
either.
and they're rebooting. I mean, you know, which again, part of that and a big part of it is figuring out quarterback, but also like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers last year actually had pretty good numbers for them, you know? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know that I don't know if I were a Titans fan that I would necessarily be looking wistfully at the Jets and wishing you were them. But, you know, I understand the Titans didn't do a lot. There isn't a big return. I mean, the Simmons thing would have been interesting to see what the reaction would have been from the fans. I mean, I was really on the fence on that one. I do think first rounder would have been hard. I think what Dallas gave up, I think I would have done that deal. Kuharsky sounds like he wouldn't have done that deal. We'll get his thoughts on that too. But David from Paris on the text line says the fact this story. Oh, he's talking about the strong story. So the fact that this story's gotten this much legs shows what a trash organization this is. Just too much crap coming from this franchise. Okay, look again.
This is a low T alert.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Mike Giardi. It was like, you know, one thing he threw out there. I mean, it's everything that happens. It's fair to say the Titans are a trash organization. It's fine. But I mean, they are kind of just sitting here, right? Well, they're saying like, what are you guys talking about? What is happening? Like there probably nothing happened at all here. And it's just like one thing because some people in the league might be speculating. And now it's like, yeah, this is why they're a trash organization. There are plenty of other reasons why they are a trash organization. Michael Spain on the YouTube chat says the Titans are the Jets. Well, that may be. And they are in one hell of a battle to be the number 1 pick, which is important, by the way, on the next draft. We'll get more into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode 1025 the game. Join the Chase and Big Joe show this Friday from noon to 3 at Reunion Township at 550 Old Lagardo Road in Mount Juliet, a brand new luxury apartment community nestled perfectly between Mount Juliet and Lebanon. Resort-style living that you deserve. For more information, go to reuniontownship.com. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby under the weather today. Ian Safar helping me deal with microphone one and two computers. All right, let me ask you this. Okay, so here's one issue I'm having with this MacBook. If any of you out there have MacBooks, you can weigh in. So, like, if I leave it alone for like a minute, it goes to the screen where I have to enter the password.
We can change that.
Super long password. It's annoying.
We can change that setting.
Yeah?
Yeah, so where the power, it's just like we'll have to go to the settings. I don't know, find it exactly, power or privacy. I don't know. I'll have to go look. We'll have to look through. And you can change the time limit to when you want that to kick in.
Okay, so you can extend the time because
Yeah.
it's very annoying. I mean, I have to
Yeah.
I have to constantly like touch the thing, Meanwhile, this one over here,
That's probably just your default setting since it's the first time you've opened it in the 5 years you've owned it.
Well, I've opened it before.
Okay.
I've started this and then I'm like, I just don't like it. I like.
I'll go back to the one that
But
doesn't have
yeah.
keys working.
Yeah, well, and that just recently happened, but it's finally forcing me to do it. But it's better. I mean, it's had to be done. This thing is so old; it needs to be sledgehammered. All right, Keith on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHigh.com, says, if the Titans and Jets finish with the same record, who gets the number one pick? So you have you do like tiebreakers, like division, we're in the same division, conference. So there's conference tiebreakers. So I'm trying to think. Okay, let's say they both finish with one win. So the Jets
Right now it's
beat
New Orleans 1-8, Tennessee 1-8, Jets 1-7. In that order, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So I'm not even going to deal with New Orleans right now, although obviously they have a very strong chance here too. But if the Titans and Jets, let's say they both go 1-16, the Jets beat a conference team. What the heck was the Titans win? The Titans win was over an NFC team. So I believe because of that, that the Titans would beat out the Jets for the number one pick because the Jets would have a better conference record. I believe. Now, someone on the YouTube chat said strength of schedule, but I think that comes in after the conference tiebreakers, if I'm not mistaken. That's how I've read it. We can ask Paul Kuharsky this too. But so Jude on the YouTube chat says strength of schedule. That would be we could get to that. And of course,
I'm trying to just a quick search here. It makes it sound like strength of schedule is the primary tiebreaker.
Okay, that's not what I'm reading. I'm reading the rules of the draft on NFL operations.
Well, I believe that.
NFL.com tiebreaker procedures. You still go. You do you get past the conference and division. You go obviously head to head if that matters, et cetera, et cetera. Then you get to strength of schedule. That is what I'm reading at NFL.com. So I'm also not always a great reader. So we'll see. Maybe Kuharsky can shed some light on that. Nate, IT with Joe segment here. Yeah, exactly.
You do not want that.
No, we do not want that. It says just use a fingerprint scanner on the Mac. Yeah, well, I did the fingerprint thing. I remember when I first opened this thing, I did I went through the whole process. So okay, put your finger there, right? But,
it never unlocks it,
but it doesn't.
Like the phone used to do.
Yeah, but it never. I guess I need to try it next time. Will it
try
work
that
next time?
Not sure. You could try that. You could try the password. I don't know if that one has the face. I don't know if computers do the face thing like the phones do, but face recognition.
That'd be great. That would be really good. Instead of having to type in this 17 character password that I have for this thing. So we'll figure out on the tiebreaker, but it is important one way or the other. And if Titans get that number one pick, I assume the Jets are probably going for their quarterback this year. Again, they have multiple first round picks in the next two drafts. You just don't know at this point how are these quarterbacks in this draft really going to be perceived. I mean, first of all, some of the guys who were supposed to be at the top of this draft have been highly disappointing, starting with Arch Manning. even though his family said that he probably wasn't going to, even come out this year. But like, he's been a huge disappointment. Garrett Nussmeier has not been as hoped. Lenora Sneller has not been as hoped. Meanwhile,
The
Fernando
Clemson kid.
Mendoza has come out of nowhere, and he may be, the top pick. Ty Simpson has pretty much come out of nowhere from Alabama. He could be at the top of it. I'm still confident that when it comes down to it, there are going to be a lot of quarterbacks that people can make a case for as a first-round quarterback. But the bottom line is, if you have the top pick, if the Jets have the second pick. Now, you have the top pick, Jets have the second pick. Jets know you're not taking a quarterback. You're going to take Reuben Bain out of Miami on the edge. Then, the Jets can stand pat, and they can just take if they're going to take a quarterback, they can take their quarterback at 2. And so it doesn't really help you. Where it helps you is some other team loves the quarterback and wants to get ahead of the Jets. And so now you have that leverage. But that's, like, if you're a Titans fan, like, root hard for any of these possible first-round quarterbacks to, like, finish strong. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, he's really good. Is he that good? Is he top pick overall good? There's a Big Ten championship game that I hope happens between Indiana and Ohio State. Here's a whole bunch of NFL guys on defense. Let's see. I think right now he's probably the odds-on favorite, but that's not
Do you see pro traits with him?
Sure. Yeah, he's got size. He's got good arm. He's accurate. Also, Kurt Cignetti's offense is very quarterback friendly. He consistently gets high-level production out of quarterbacks, and most of them in his career have not gone in the NFL.
Like a Heupel situation.
Last year, Curtis Rourke was a good. He got Curtis Rourke to the point of being on the radar of NFL people. But Mendoza has, like, he's got ability that's like, yeah, this is like a dude. This, is he number one pick? People get excited. People drop everything to go get him level player. I don't know about that. And that's what the Titans need. They need someone like that, because it looked like we'd have multiple candidates for that. But right now, it, again, doesn't look like we're having a Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels top of the draft.
Yeah, no, there's no locked in number one. That's for sure.
Right.
There's no even really locked in combo top 3 at this point, I don't think.
Right.
Like it was in previous years.
Which isn't great.
It's going to be a quarterback. Which order do they go? It's not even really that right now. They're talking about quarterback might not even go number 1 overall. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. Like, if the Titans, let's say, got that pick, and they have to stick and pick, they're not going to take a quarterback. I hope we can all agree with that. Like, you can feel whatever you want about Cam Ward. Like, the Titans are not drafting over Cam Ward in the next draft. Like, that's just not going to happen. So yeah, if it's a Titans stick and pick, and it's going to be Reuben Bain or somebody like that, probably. The edge out of Miami. It could be somebody else, but it's not going to be a quarterback. But again, that's what the Titans need, is they need someone to desperately want that quarterback, want to get above the Jets, and give them a haul so they can move down. That would be best case scenario for the Titans. And we will continue this discussion when we come back. Robby and Rexrode 125 the game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Joe Rexrode here. Robby under the weather today. Ian Safar producing, and we have Paul Kuharsky in the studio in Robby's chair.
Don't worry, I'm here to save things.
Thank you, because
Ian did well, but the Mac talk was a little
Little
as your
much.
wife was telling you.
yeah, well, Katie, this is great support.
I'm here, Katie.
This is great support from home. Katie texted me, "Your show is bad. Stop talking about the Mac." Thank you, Katie.
I mean, it is a happy
Appreciate
day
that.
Joe has finally broken out this Mac, which is probably 3 generations old because it's been sitting in your drawer. What sparked? Just give us one last thing on the Mac, Katie. What prompted you to finally make this move?
Well, I've got increasing number of keys on this piece of crap that don't even work anymore.
You look like you don't really look like, but it's funny to say. You look like a broker. You got two computers.
Sure. Wheeling and dealing.
One that doesn't function and one that you don't know how to use. So you're day trading.
Yeah. Well, a little wheeling and dealing here, just like the Titans and the Patriots. So let's get right to it, PK. God dang it. See, this thing I got to enter the password.
He has to keep touching it.
Wait.
As I quoted him saying earlier. I have to keep touching it, said.
I'm trying. I'm trying to use my finger thing. It's not doing anything. I did this.
Clearly, you're not fully operational on this yet, and you just have to deal with that. And people don't really want minute-to-minute update. And why did you do such a long password?
Yeah, you have to.
My password.
You have to.
Short.
No, I mean have to.
I mean it. I think it said 14.
14.
Yeah, 14, man.
I think mine is also 8.
14, 14
6
letters, numbers, and like a symbol. Like that was that's just a lot,
thing?
Man. It's a New York Times computer. I don't know, man. I mean, but I did the
as he said, it's an athletic computer, as he said.
Huh?
I'd like to call you athletic and not New York Times.
Yeah, I mean, the New York Times owns us. I don't know what to tell you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you know Joe writes for The Athletic?
Thank you. Okay, Paul.
Voice.
Yeah.
Let us begin.
Yeah. Let's get into let's start with this Patriots thing. What can you tell us? I know you can't tell us everything. All reporters report and talk to people and all that stuff, and so I understand you have limitations, but what can you tell the public, the Titans following public, about this Mike Giardi sort of implication that maybe the Titans are being petty, et cetera, with the whole, and they wouldn't deal with the Patriots?
Yeah, it's not true. From what I know, from people who do not lie, and really from multiple geographical places, it's just not true. And it would make no sense for the Titans to pass on a better offer out of spite. I mean, if you could do something good with the Patriots, that would hurt the Patriots.
Okay, let me stop you there. I agree. I would also say, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, well, tell me a lot of the stuff that's made sense that they've done in the last few years.
Well, you can say that, but each move gets judged on its own, right? So if they're making a trade of Draymond Jones, which is what I think this is clearly about, you think if they had a better offer from the Patriots, they would have said, no, we'd rather take this lesser offer from the Ravens. It's just
okay,
ridiculous proposition on its face.
You've already advanced the story.
I'm reporting that they did not turn down anything better from the Patriots.
Okay.
I know what the Patriots offered, and it was not anywhere close to what they got from the Ravens.
Well, you've already advanced the story from what we've been discussing. So you are saying this is basically centered on Draymond Jones. The Patriots wanting him, not getting him. The Ravens,
I believe that to be the case. I know that piece of it.
Okay.
I don't know if there were discussions about other guys or not.
Yeah,
maybe there were, but I know there were conversations about Draymond Jones.
Okay, so if you're the Patriots, yeah, Draymond Jones, he's been playing really well lately. Could help you. Instead, you're 7-2. Instead, you got another AFC team who gets him. So,
who you might be competing with for playoffs?
Who you might be competing with?
They've got to make a charge.
You might play them in the playoffs. I think both those teams are going to be in the playoffs. Okay, so that's the starting point. Okay, then I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask this. Then okay, so is there pettiness? We're talking about Amy Adams Strunk pettiness. I mean, when the whole divorce happened here, there was pettiness on both sides. Is there pettiness coming from the other way? Is there Vrabel pettiness?
I suspect so.
Interesting. So they just really can't.
But
they can't quit
also
each
think-
other. They just can't quit each other.
I also don't think that New England set out to do this necessarily. And I don't like to necessarily break down the reporting of a colleague that I respect.
But that is an important thing to also to put out there, because again, we got somebody like, oh, you're covering for Vrabel or whatever, and it's like, I don't think anybody up there is pissed at Vrabel, but Mike Giardi is a guy he's been doing this for a long
Right.
time. He's a sourced, respected NFL reporter. His phrasing to me is just so like vague and so right. It's like, oh, people in the league might be talking about this. I mean, it's just like, okay.
Do people in the league care what the Patriots are or aren't getting in at the trade deadline when they're worried about their own trade deadline stuff? I don't know. If people in the league are talking about it, like this is just like me and you unwinding reporting, which is the kind of thing we would do over beer. If people in the league are talking about it, it's because somebody with New England is talking about it.
Right.
So
Typically,
what I'm hearing from New England is this. And I think what I would guess, my somewhat educated but mostly speculative thoughts on this are somebody in New England said it maybe in jest initially, and then it gets translated from one part of the building to another part of the building, and the jest part kind of disappears. This is my guess.
Okay.
Then it gets taken seriously from a part of the building that knows the specifics to a part of the building that maybe doesn't know as much the nitty gritty. And then it gets mentioned to a reporter, and the reporter also is further removed from the tone of the thing. And then here we go.
Yeah. Thank you for confusing everybody.
You know what I'm saying? You tell me, we work at the same place. You tell me something, but maybe there's a joking edge to it. And then it's a telephone game, and the joking edge to it disappears.
And so then the reporter in conveying this also, and this happens, but it's like something locally, and then you throw it into league. I've seen people
cover stuff with league sources.
Yeah, I've
time.
seen people who have reported an actual news, like reported like an actual huge trade in the NBA, and got the source from the team they covered, but said league source says, because the source who gave you the information says you can't say like team source, you got to put league source. So this is probably locally originating. Okay, so the bottom line is, because I understand any Titans fan who immediately is like, oh yeah, sounds like Amy. You don't think that Amy Adams Strunk is telling Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, whoever, do whatever you want, I'm out of it, except the Patriots. Don't deal with them. We're not helping them.
Look, there's a ton of stuff to be critical of Amy Adams Strunk for, and I wouldn't tell anybody to lay off, but pile on. But there's no need to add stuff that has nothing to it. And I'm certain that there's nothing to this.
But not nothing. What you're telling us is that if there's something, it might be a little bit more on the other side.
Yeah, nothing to this from the Titans side. Titans engaged with the Patriots a little bit, which you do, and went and found something better.
Well, that's the thing. That deal actually, to me, two sacks and making the playoffs, you get a 4th-round pick.
It's a good deal. Now, the 4th-round pick isn't a total round jump, because they've got the Jets 5th, and they'll get the Ravens 4th. So you're jumping from the very top of the 5th round to the middle, say, of the 4th round. But it's a jump.
Going to have low, but yeah, it's still a jump.
It's a jump.
All right, we come back. Somebody will have a rant. How about that? On Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
You know, Vrabel, I used to enjoy the delicious taste of a Camel Light.
Joe liked that one. It was a layup, Joe.
Paul, go find a slogan.
I didn't expect to stand on a soapbox for Paul Kuharsky today.
Come on, Johnny. Here, jump on my back. Let's run to the end zone together.
Rexrode, you said we were going to lose, you jerk.
No, he will absolutely take a dump on that field.
I would let them pee around the field.
Poople?
You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Another lovely mashup from Mr. Ian Safar as we bring you the Rex Rant. Brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out, functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Big fan here of Functional Medicine of Tennessee. And I guess Paul, who, by the way, well, we'll do this later. We'll do this later with you, Paul. But
sounded like you were going to praise me. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's a read I have. I'll read it later. I have a quick thing. Okay, I haven't even read the story. I've read the headline, which is a huge sin, Paul.
This is what we love,
as you know,
people doing.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I don't think that reading the story will do anything. Like, it's not going to change the meaning of this freaking freak show. Okay. And you need to tell me what the hell's wrong with this dude. Tom Brady cloned his dog. What's up with this dude? Like, seriously, what is wrong with Tom Brady? I have not read the story. I don't want details. I don't want the details of this story. He cloned his freaking dog.
I also read the headline. I did click in to see a picture of the dog. I don't know if you're filthy rich and a little
eccentric.
I don't know that it's outside of the normal thinking for a person like that to want your dog. But I saw a great clip. It might have been Bill Burr. It might have been a lesser known comedian. And this was really good. This hit me because I've recently lost a pet. Finley died in the last 6 months after 17 really good years. And we have another dog, Ripley, who's, taken over in charge of the house. And part of the reason we got Ripley was because we knew Finley was getting up there. But this comedian said, people, one of the great things about pets is, and this is going to hurt a lot of people, they're incredibly replaceable. Oh, he was getting on Herb Street with this dog. He brings the dog along and the dog is dying and he's sad as could be. And 2 weeks later, he just has another dog and he loves that dog just as much as he loved the dog before. Dogs are great, but when a dog dies, you can just get another dog and you love the other dog just as much as you loved the dog before. And honestly, I have a ton of affection for the dog that I lost, but I also love the other dog. And I think there's something to be said about that. And Kirk Herbstreit, for all of this forcing his dog down our throat, he didn't have a lot of problems replacing the dog. Most people at least wait. He said, I need 6 months or a year before I get my other dog. Herbstreit had another dog in no time.
So you view this like a widow or a widower, and it's like you immediately get married again? You're equating those two things?
The people
you have to have a buffer time period?
People, you usually have some buffer time, and it's hard to get remarried or start dating again. It's a real process. With Herbstreit and his dog, there was no process.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get another dog.
Immediately in
He
love.
looks like the old dog. I'm bringing him on the road, forcing him down people's throats in the booth, not taking any consideration that somebody may be allergic or scared. I'm just bringing this dog everywhere.
Okay. And a lot of people, Herbstreit the Herbstreit public view of Herbstreit and the dog situation is definitely gone from
but the cloning is weird.
It's definitely gone from like, oh, that's so awesome to, okay, we're sick of this crap.
Enough.
But the cloning of the dog, I mean, first of all, I have to think of, I've read the book and watched the movie. The movie was terrible. I think of Stephen King's Pet Cemetery, it's like, they keep burying these things in the pet cemetery and they come back and they're like, they're them, but they're not really. They're kind of like zombie versions of the original living things that they keep burying in the pet cemetery. Like, does the dog have any recognition of you? Just because you cloned?
You both read the book and watched the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I used to, like,
You were all in on that.
well, I read a lot of like Stephen King's books, like in the '80s. You know, like I mean, I like his books. I mean, I guess I haven't read
But
one in
then
a long
you felt
time.
compelled to see the movie. Like,
Yeah.
hey, how's this movie
Most Stephen
square up with the book?
Well, sure. I mean, most like most Stephen King movies aren't great. They're bad, right?
Yeah.
But some of them are good. I mean, Shawshank Redemption
and
is
the James-
better than the written.
And the James Caan, Catherine Bates.
Yeah, Misery. There you go.
Misery is
Sure,
very
there's
good.
some good ones.
Yeah.
This one sucked, but like you clone the dog, so I understand that it probably looks the same and everything, but like the dog doesn't know you, it doesn't recognize you. You have to do all the same stuff, right?
I presume.
It's not like it's the dog. Did he think he was getting like the dog? Hey,
Probably.
hey, buddy, you know me, right? No, I'm just DNA. What? I don't understand
You could
this.
get a similar dog like most humans would do. Or you could
Yeah, think
get
of like the cost, and I know cost is no object to him,
No,
but
no
like
object.
you can just
That's
get
what I
the
was
same
thinking.
breed of dog.
Like, why would you spend that much money
Well,
when there's so many dogs who need a home, given the situation?
That
But then
also,
I did click the link. I didn't read the article, but it sounded like he used a company that he is an investor in, some type of genetic clone company that he is an investor in.
is there any company that he's not some sort of like shadow partner
And
in?
so I
or
was like,
something?
He's
okay.
a shadow partner and everything. Meanwhile, Peyton is a spokesman for everything. Between the two of them, there's no getting away.
So I was like, okay,
That's a
so
good
he's
point.
doing this as like a business venture thing. He's probably not having to pay too much out of pocket already because he's already an investor, and which makes me just think he's practicing this so he can clone himself when he dies, and there will be another Tom Brady clone somewhere.
That is
Quarterback.
that's a fair
I
point.
wish I could find the original story because because we've all clicked on it or read the headline. It's an amazing click story that's got no readership. The view time 2 seconds. But it's part of what you want.
I'm sorry, I'm reading Josh Kentucky who says, note to self, never let Paul babysit my dog. Jude on the YouTube, you may be onto something, Ian, but Jude says this tells us Tom would clone Giselle if he could. So maybe that's the idea. Things didn't work out well, but if you can clone it out, maybe second chance, you know? There's a lot of ways this could
That's
go.
He
even more creepy.
co-owned this dog with Giselle, so it doesn't hurt him that it might remind him of his ex-wife.
Maybe you can clone both of them. Maybe
And this is
that's
the
idea.
same company or the same technology that was used to clone Dolly the sheep all the way back in 1996. We all remember that.
Yeah. Wow. Well, anyway, Tom Brady is a freaking weirdo, and I don't think we can say it enough. And I think we can all agree on that. And when we come back, we will get back into the Titans with Paul Kuharsky on Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
It's that time of week here on Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky in studio. Paul is, of course, brought to you by Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse and Seal Master. And here in the third hour of Robby and Rexrode, we are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. PK, we have a lot to get into. Texture, though, I do want to go to the text line quickly. 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, says, I had no idea Stephen King wrote Shawshank Redemption. Yes, it was actually a novella.
Yeah.
A novella called Rita Hayworth in Shawshank Redemption in the book 4 Seasons. And that also included The Body, which became the movie Stand By Me. So, actually.
Pretty good run.
Yeah. Wait, 4 seasons? Different seasons. Different seasons. But yes, it was a novella. And there's an example. That's probably the one thing, like the one movie that's like better than, most books are better than movies, right? Like we can all agree.
Most of the time.
But that one, Shawshank Redemption.
I mean, that book wasn't very popular, to my knowledge. Most of the time, if a book gets made in a movie, it's a pretty popular book.
Yeah.
That's a short story. Short stories generally aren't popular.
It was more than a short story. It was a novella. But yeah, I mean, it was, for sure.
And then we all know the story about how the movie didn't hit in theaters. Name was a turnoff. And
you talking about Shawshank?
Yeah. It came out against something really big. It didn't do well in theaters. And it's now, one of the top 100 movies of all time. And it's on TV constantly.
Yeah. And it's one of those that I still haven't gotten sick of.
No.
Like,
it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's a great movie. I don't know how to transition from that into the Tennessee Titans, Paul, but from a great product into a not as great product. But let's just assess the trading deadline. So Draymond Jones, we agree, is a good deal, I think, for the Titans. You're talking about the potential, not a huge leap to get that to a fourth. And, Draymond Jones has had a nice little run here. Maybe Titans fans don't like dealing with the Ravens. It's like these Titans becoming Ravens just keeps happening. But nothing else. There was smoke around Chig. There was obviously talk of Jeff Simmons. So 2 big things I want to ask you about. None of that happened. Arden Key's still around. Calvin Ridley's still around. 2 things. One, Devondre Sweat. Did you see Jordan Schultz's tweet on this?
Remind me.
Well, see, I asked you about something, and then
I didn't memorize Jordan Schultz's tweet.
Well, that's your guy. That's your guy.
Guy.
Well,
who did he steal the tweet from?
So I'm gonna read this because I read it and I was like, man, sometimes I swear some of these tweets, like Rappaport had a couple yesterday, where he's basically like trying to make the case for both sides of a deal, and it's like, just shut up, just. Put it. What is the news? What happened? Your commentary of sucking up to the agent and the GM, like we don't need it. Okay. Here's Jordan Schultz tweet. Sources: despite significant league-wide interest, the Titans are not trading defensive tackle Devondre Sweat. They view him as a young, ascending cornerstone, a key part of their future plans, and have made it clear they're not looking to move him. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Here are my thoughts. They think that he's got potential, and they want to see what a new coach, new coordinator, and a new defensive line coach make of him before they make a decision on him. But the powers that be, do not love him at all.
Were they okay? So I mean, when I see what he says, that tells me no, thank you. Was there a
well? They're not. They would look foolish trading him now because he's a recent 2nd-round pick, and you're not getting anything close to 2nd-round value for him. So you're going to turn a 2nd-round pick into a 6th-round pick in the matter of 2 years? That's not smart dealing. You're better off. All of us would agree, I think, keeping him and seeing if you could turn him into what the GM who drafted him thought he could be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But again, like you said, different GM. Brinker, still part of all this, as we should every once in a while mention. But 6, though?
I don't know. What do you think he's worth?
I could have seen a team giving a 4th for him. But that's still, like you said, that's still an immediate reduction in value.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
the NFL.
not a good way to operate.
That's the league.
I agree that it's a healthier thing to keep him and let a new regime see how they connect with him and what they can get out of him. Now, if you don't like him at the end of training camp, you're in a difficult position with him.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's a big boned person, you know. He's a big individual. He's always going to be a big individual. I just watch it from afar. It does not look to me like he is in the kind of shape that you need to be in to be a difference maker in the league, even at that position. And again, he's on a team where you can look around and see some people who have done some things significant to their bodies to especially Simmons, but even, you know, again, and I do like that's got to be a big thing moving forward, right? You got to figure that out.
I'll do this a second time next week. And if I see the same thing, I will put it out on social media. But I took video of him warming up last week. The most lackadaisical thing. Now, a lot of people are going to say that's not important. I think it's representative of whether a guy's in or not. You get out there and there's a 12-minute warm-up, and everything you do in that warm-up is designed to – each movement is designed to get your body ready for some – piece of what you're going to do in practice, right? And the serious-minded guys take that seriously because they know what it means, and it reduces the chances of you pulling something or doing something. He went through the motion. He couldn't have given a damn about that warm-up. That's telling.
Yeah, it's troubling because, look, the guy, again, if you watch a lot of college football, like his last year at Texas, he was a dominant player. He had the kind of year that when they drafted him, I said, I can see it. You know, again, he's got to want it and he's got to maximize it, but I can see it.
Yeah.
And
how hard did he have to work to dominate at the college level versus how hard do you have to work to do something similar at the NFL level? This is a story
huge
as old as
up.
the league.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And it's like you hope that he figures it out. So, okay. So he's in. Now, the next thing I need to ask you about is we saw Quinnen Williams, we need to get in the Colts too, by the way, and your thoughts there. But Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones clearly very motivated to bolster their defensive interior. Do you believe that the Titans were in discussions with the Cowboys that Quinnen Williams was back up after the Titans said no, thank you? Or that Jerry Jones is the preferred Quinnen Williams? How do you view that? How do you view the Jeffrey Simmons situation through that prism?
I don't think the Titans were taking offers on Jeffrey Simmons. I think they could have gotten
accepting calls.
Well, I mean, I think you get a call and they say, "Hey, we're not taking offers on Jeffrey Simmons."
Like, don't even tell me your offer. Earmuffs. I don't want to hear your offer. Of course, you listen to the offer.
I don't think it got to the point where the Titans got a hard offer on Jeffrey Simmons. Surely they could have gotten that for Jeffrey Simmons. I don't know why you wouldn't prefer Jeffrey Simmons to Williams. I would. I would have taken that offer for Jeffrey Simmons. I know people aren't wild necessarily about the player, Smith, but you take what you can get there. And obviously they're not going to offer – they don't want to offer a third pick. They don't want to deplete their draft that much. So they're offering an actual player commodity, but it's a first, a second, and a player. I mean, that's a haul. I take that for Jeffrey Simmons, and I had come the other way to not trading Jeffrey Simmons, but I didn't think you could get that much. And if you could get that much, I'm taking it. Look, the Cowboys aren't that good. So that first round pick is, you would have thought it would have come from the Bills, right? Or somebody that's going to finish, where the pick is 25 or worse. Where are the Cowboys going to be? They're going to be more like
12,
20, 18. Worse,
it might
better
be more
than
14.
That.
Yeah.
12, that's a 14. Pretty damn good pick to pair with your own pick, which is going to be 1, 2, or 3. That's a pretty damn good offer. I would have made that deal. How about you?
I would have too. And then again, we probably won't get a firm answer on this, but I'd like to know, if how the Cowboys viewed Simmons, if they preferred Simmons, because I agree with you, Simmons is a better player. You could make the case the Cowboys have been so awful at stopping the run. I mean, you could make the case that maybe Quinnen Williams fits
Bigger.
that a little bit more than Simmons does, but I mean, the way Simmons has played this year, that's a guy who upgrade your defense immediately.
I put up a
probably
poll
more than Quinnen Williams does.
I put up a poll. I'll retweet it now. Would you have taken this deal for Simmons? 65% of 1,900 votes. 65% said yes.
Okay, so that's not overwhelming, but it's a strong
Pretty
majority.
strong.
If you have questions for Paul, by the way, hit us up. The text line, driven by WilsonCountyHair.com, 615-737-1025. Okay, I want you to – okay, you can – we have time for you to address this. This is a question from – I don't have a name on this. Says, is there an NFL rule that would prohibit a team from hiring a new head coach who is currently not coaching? Yeah, thinking here is McCarthy. Come in now and advise, learn the organization, start planning for next year. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing.
No, I mean Jeff Saturday was hired from the outside midseason,
but he was hired as the interim coach.
Right. Yeah. You want to hire McCarthy to come in and begin to assess things at this stage. There's no real benefit to that head start. I mean, there's plenty of time to, and if you've talked to McCarthy in that fashion, he can be watching it, but he can watch every single thing on film when the time comes and catch up. There's a huge runway there from January to the combine and beyond. The off season is long, and it's plenty of time for a new coach to get things in order and figure things out. Him being in the building would be weird for players and for the current staff, to whom you need to extend certain courtesies, no matter how bad they are.
Well, I mean, you're still paying them like to win football games.
Yes.
I mean, even if most Titans fans would rather the race for the number one pick, and we'll get into that too, by the way.
Look, I think Mike McCoy is horrific, but the image of Mike McCoy standing at practice with Mike McCarthy standing over his shoulder taking notes, I mean, you want to talk about dysfunction. That is national media would descend on Nashville to write about this unusual. And I'm all for the
that'd
Titans
be a weird one,
testing the boundaries of new stuff, but that's not the new stuff they should be doing.
All right, we have a ton more to get into with PK. Keep sending your questions. 615-737-1025. Robby Rexrode, 1025 the game. Welcome back in. Robby and Rex, 125 the game. Paul Kuharsky in, as he is every Wednesday. Ian Safar producing. I got more questions for you, PK. Bob and Mount Juliet says, why won't Paul just say what Borgonzi doesn't like about Sweat instead of beating around the bush?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear what the practice, how he goes through the motions at things. What's the book on Sweat? What's the downsides on Sweat? How am I beating around the bush? You talked about his weight. I talked about his lazy attitude. I mean, how are we beating around the bush?
I'm just reading questions to you, man. Like from Richard on the YouTube chat who says, PK, what is on your question list for Borgonzi? Borgonzi, what, right after this, right? You're busting right over there, right?
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's
Leisurely
not an
little
hour
drive.
away. It's not an hour away.
Yeah, like the traffic can be a little rough, but yeah, it's fine. What's your question list? What is burning your brain?
I know a lot of people like have to sit down and spend 2 hours composing their question list.
Are you ripping Glennon right now? Are you subtweeting Glennon?
I'll get over there and I'll have 20 minutes and I'll sit down and jot down some thoughts, and it comes very easily.
Okay,
I mean, it's no big secret.
I want to know one of your questions.
I'd like to know more about the Jarvis Brownlee decision and how he's feeling about that, based on Jarvis Brownlee being a significant contributor to the Jets right now.
That's a good one.
I'd like to know,
I like that.
Following up on my Denard Wilson story, like how can he look these coaches in the eye when he's leaving them with nothing to work with?
Well, let's get into that a little bit. You wrote about Denard Wilson. It is pretty amazing. I feel like there's actually been some progress on his end this year. Like the defense, I mean, again, last year was like the fake stats of the total defense, right? And they really weren't very good.
Couldn't stop the run.
This year, like they've had some good stretches. I think they've had some good games. You lose all your corners. Then you've got some pass rush going. I mean, they're a much better pass rushing team than I expected them to be this year.
Last 4 weeks in particular. And then you take the guy who's the head of that and ship him off.
Yeah. And Denard's just like,
hey, fix it. Make something out of these guys who nobody's ever heard of.
And Denard
I got
Wilson,
a nice practice squad call up for you.
Who, by the way, would have been a fine choice as interim coach.
With some fire in his belly, as opposed to Mike McCoy, who's devoid of any visible passion or communication skills.
Tell us how you really quit beating around the bush about Mike McCoy. My goodness.
Mike McCoy is
you're really down on Mike McCoy.
Yeah, I don't think I'm alone. Find me somebody who's up on Mike McCoy who's not a member of the McCoy family. I mean, I think the McCoy family's got to have some doubts.
That reminds me of, and of course it's not funny to bring up, I guess, because of who he was talking about, but that reminds me of Ryan Johansson going off against Ryan Kessler in the locker room
in the playoffs. Yeah.
How does that guy's family even like him? Of course, Ryan Kessler. Whew,
if you're looking for
something ugly one, we don't need to get into.
Uninspiring leadership, you've got your man.
I mean, obviously, he has not been aggressive. He has not been very forthcoming with
guys. I'm going to come in here and we're going to play some passive football. I know what you want is a change up from Callahan, who was pretty passive. I'm going to maximize the passive.
Yeah, it hasn't been very inspiring. It would have been more fun, and it would have been way better for Denard. Back to him, what we were talking about.
Not
Denard
to make
Wilson.
fun of Teresa. Teresa asked McCoy, like, "Hey, during this bye week, are you going to, really make some adjustments?" And I'm like laughing. He's going to adjust. He's not going to do a damn thing. He's going to take a couple days off and come back and think about, punting from the 43.
We're going to go out there. We're going to fart.
Wait, what? What? Do that again? What?
We're going to go out there. We're going to fart.
That seems a little mean. I mean, I feel like I'm being mean, but I'm not manipulating his words.
But that was real. No, that's real.
He misspoke. He said fart by accident.
You were there. You didn't notice this?
I did not notice this.
It was one of the questions. I don't know.
I have a tendency to tune out.
See, you missed an awesome Mike McCoy moment by not paying attention. Keith says, PK, as we get down to the last 2 games of the year, we need to talk about the number 1 pick. Do you think Titans would sit starters if they have a chance at getting the first pick? Looking at that Saints game. By the way, so I've been going back and forth. I thought I read on NFL.com that you go through the regular tiebreakers, just like you think it's strength of schedule first.
I'm 98% sure it's strength of schedule. Then if you have ties, you go to the other tiebreaker things. But it's strength of schedule. Also, the idea that the Titans need to sit starters to lose is incredibly funny.
Well, it is
have
the
you
Saints.
watched them this year?
Well, it is the Saints. I mean,
Saints game is not look, I think the Titans can play things out and fare pretty well in the draft. Just doing their thing.
Yeah, but still, if you have the number one pick, and there's so much that we need to find out. I mean, I just always expect there to be a couple quarterbacks that people have. These guys. Oh my goodness. So the Jets. Let's say you get one and the Jets get two. Jets looking at Titans saying they're not going to pick a quarterback. They're going to take Ruben Bain from Miami.
Somebody's going to trade up.
Yeah, if someone really loves a quarterback, that's a big deal. That's a much bigger deal than getting just the third pick and taking the best.
I think you have an opportunity to trade out of two or maybe even three as well. Saints taking a quarterback for sure.
I don't know about for sure, but I have my questions about whether Tyler Shuck is. I think a lot of this year is going to be okay. Is it? Are we giving this kid another, or is it like okay? It's like a half measure draft pick, which just doesn't.
I just wish the quarterbacks were better for everybody's sake, for the league's sake, that you have better quarterbacks coming in. The last couple of years of prospects, last year and this year, not good enough guys, not people that everybody's thinking are going to transform teams at draft time or coming into the draft. It seems like.
Well, we thought this year that's what we were going to see, and then all these guys and so many of these college quarterbacks have been disappointing. It's amazing that people are still like talking about Arch. Arch is not going to be a top pick in the draft right now. He's not.
No, he's not coming out this year.
Well, he's not coming out this year, but even like the idea that by next year he'll be the number one pick. I don't know about that. I think he'll get drafted.
It wouldn't surprise me if he has a big year next year and
could be
climbs back up to where people thought he was going to be. Look, I'm completely torn by this all the time. I don't think people should root for their team to lose, generally speaking, and just let it play out like you did last year. You didn't expect. They didn't look like they were going to be in position for the number one pick, and then all of a sudden they were there. But I think it's better for.
But when you're this bad, So you think it's better for this team to win
for Cam,
and
for Io Manor and for DK and for all of those guys? I think winning has impact on them, and they need to learn how to do it.
So if they're 3-14 as opposed to 1-16. That helps them more next year?
I think it helps those guys. I do.
All right, Ed.
And I have trouble instructing a losing team to continue to lose.
Well, of course they shouldn't. No. That's one of the great things about the NFL. Players don't tank, man. Like coaches don't tank. They're all fighting for the next job at least. They're all fighting to put something on film at the very least. So, yeah, they're not going to do that. They want to stick it to anybody who wants them to lose. But I'm saying as a Titans fan, and I've been in this, position where it's like, the season's lost, and what could the number one pick do for you? I don't think there's any problem with hoping Cam Ward throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns, and you lose in a shootout, which of course we'll never see because that's just not what happens with a Titans football
6
game.
Points.
Yeah, 6 points on offense. Yeah,
5 trips.
I wasn't even going to
and 6 points.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring up the last game, but there we go. We've talked about the last game. Ed, we've already talked about this, but Ed's asking again, do you think Quinnen was a pivot from the Cowboys after they offered the same to the Titans or were turned away?
I think they were looking for a defensive tackle. I don't know that, I don't know you have to pivot off one guy. You can look at multiple guys and see who you get. No? Did they have to have a list, or could they say we want one of these 3 guys?
Yeah, you just said yourself earlier, you think Simmons is better than him. So, I think the Cowboys are competent enough to identify the top defensive tackles and identify that the Titans are a very bad team with a great player.
Yeah.
You got a Springsteen movie review?
I'm going to try to go this afternoon.
Well, there you go. All right. This texter asks every week, so maybe next week we'll get the Springsteen
this afternoon
review.
or tomorrow.
We come back. I do have to get PK's thoughts on this Colts. Apparently, the Colts think that Daniel Jones is amazing and that they are Super Bowl contenders. Maybe they're right. We'll see. Let's talk to PK about it. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rex, 125 The Game. Paul Kuharsky in with us. I get some people, PK, I guess kind of agreeing with you on like, Titans need to win. Someone's like, yeah, they need a win. That's a real win, not a gifted win like they got with the Cardinals. I thought they made some pretty big time plays while getting a gift.
Yeah.
Cameron says on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHead.com 615-737-1025 says no win helps. Getting elite players helps. You get elite players by having the highest pick possible. PK scolded all of us and told us how that one fluke win at Miami with Levis was so important, and all it did was cost us a chance to draft Malik Neighbors or Joe Alt. Your thoughts, PK? People get mad at you very easily.
There's just this presumption in that instance that first off, that they would have taken Malik Neighbors or Joe Alt and not messed it up, which they have a propensity to do. But look, I wait all year for football season. I don't wait all year for the draft. Some of these people have tangled this whole thing up, and they wait all year for the draft.
I mean, their team stinks, man. I mean, I hear you, but their team stinks.
But I like to watch football games.
Sure.
And when I watch,
and you watch a great one every Sunday.
And I watch a great one every Sunday. Now, I'm not a fan of a specific team, but I like to watch compelling games. And if I had a team, I would be rooting for that team to win every Sunday. For those 18
even if they were this bad.
For those 18 weeks of the season, I would want to see my team fare well. I would want to see the development of the young people who are going to be the core of my team. I would be miserable to spend 18 weeks plotting for April every year. That is not the way I would want to root.
No, it's not.
People are entitled to do that.
You think
but
that
I don't want to spend my whole year thinking about April.
Okay, but do you think that these Titans fans crave that? This is the situation they're in because of the horrific product that they've been treated to for years now.
Right. But in a week from Sunday, they're going to spend 3 hours watching this team against Houston. And I think my approach would be, I hope that this is a breakout day and that Cam Ward shows me something I haven't seen before. And at the end of that game, I get to say, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Look at how well they played. That was terrific. Instead of, sweet, we sucked again, and we're that much closer to something 8 months away that's going to be good for us, 12 months away, and 24 months away.
See, what I think happens is I think for a lot of people, when you're watching the game, when the Titans are playing the Texans or the Colts, especially, a team that you don't like, like you're rooting for them. You want them to win. You want them to do well. But if in the end, especially if in the end Cam Ward played well, but you lost a close game, okay. It's bad. It's so bad that how is that really gonna, you can kind of go either way. It's like win-win, right?
I'm disproportionately driven crazy by these people that will finish watching that game, and on Monday, the nerds will put on the film of Jacksonville State and say, this guy in the 4th round is going to be part of our salvation.
Yeah, well,
and we're going to have a high 4th round pick.
No, that's over.
As
over
part of this, and that's not being an NFL fan to me. I mean, I'm a fan of the actual sport.
I hear you. I mean, the draft talk, trying to avoid that. We're going to avoid that as much as we can on this show. So I'm with you on that, especially because, obviously there's a million prospects. Who knows who you even have a chance to draft. But, you gotta give these people a little bit of a break for the crap that they had to sit through. Not that you don't sit through it too. Texter says, unlike Andy Dufresne, I do not see the Titans going through a river of poop and coming out clean on the other end. That is
they're in the poop.
Get that.
Where the end of that poop tunnel is, it's a lot longer than the one under the prison.
Cameron says there's responding to you. There's zero argument response to my text. As an actual fan of the Titans with the ability to rationally understand how to fix a franchise, you have to look past just what happens in one weekend to what you have to do to fix this bleep show over time. I mean, again, that's fine. I don't if you're a Titans fan, again, who wants the number 1 pick, I'm not mad at you. I get it. It does suck during a football season they need to draft well wherever they are.
draft good players.
So
ideally, they can trade back from where they are. Yeah, if they get the number 1 pick, that's not a bad thing for franchise building. But I don't see rooting for the number 1 pick at week. What are they? 9 now, 10 going into 11. It's a sucky way to live.
Nate says, so PK is one of those blind fans that roots for the team no matter what. Liam says, spoken like a true Yankee fan who doesn't understand what losing like this feels like.
I have not spent a lot of time rooting for losing organizations. That's true. But I don't know. I just rooting for your team to lose is counter fandom.
Like if it gets down to the very end and it's like, okay, if you lose this game, you get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, then
yes. Months of it, that's tough. I want to ask you about speaking of picks, the Jets now have a couple first rounders from the Colts for Sauce Gardner, who is an excellent cornerback who is going to help their defense. But 2 things about this, PK. 1, I think that's incredibly rich for a cornerback. I still personally, I just don't. And you know what? I'm here for them to prove me wrong. They're way better than I thought they'd be, and most of us thought they'd be. I just still don't look at the Colts as a team that I would pick to get past the top teams in the AFC in the playoffs this year. Could be wrong. But also, this to me seems to be a complete endorsement of Daniel Jones as the future of this franchise, which is he's played very well this year, but my goodness, that's a commitment at this point.
Yeah, you can't pay that price for Sauce Gardner. He's very good, but he's not been out of this world last year or this year. He's not. And Jets GM said Indianapolis kept getting richer and richer with their value, and eventually it was too good to pass up. I mean, you're telling me you couldn't have gotten him for a first and a second or a first and a third? I mean, if you dangle that out there and just let them ponder it, 2 firsts is incredibly rich. Now, if you're looking at one player who you're confident is going to get you to Kansas City and Buffalo, had a good win, but doesn't have a great defense. The AFC is not as good as we've gotten used to. So could Indianapolis surprise and make a run? Yes. But I mean, giving up first rounders for the next 2 years in order to make your run this year with Daniel Jones and sacrificing that kind of potential talent over the next 2 years, it just seems really hopeful, overly hopeful to me.
It is wild, like just the ups and downs with Chris Ballard. Again, it wasn't that long ago. Oh, this is the best GM in the league. And then it's like they underwhelm, they underperform, they keep trying with the latest, cashed quarterback and another one. And then, I mean, this pickup of Daniel Jones. Frankly, the pickup of Daniel Jones got met with about the same reaction like Ryan Tannehill of the Titans did. It's kind of like, yeah, sure. Throw him in with your other QB and whatever. Who cares? And now all of a sudden, but I do think you hit on something there. I mean, they must look at it like, okay, like the Chiefs, they still have Patrick Mahomes, but they have flaws.
Bills don't play good
the Ravens
defense.
are a mess. Their defense isn't very good. What if,
This is
like
a
Ian
real
said
gopher.
earlier, what if the Colts can get themselves to, having home field advantage in the playoffs, right? I still
they've
don't.
got a chance.
I would pick them to lose against any of those teams I just mentioned.
I would too. But it's not unrealistic to imagine them winning those games either. But this is a go for it move. I don't know that a cornerback is going to be the piece that throws them over the top.
And
they gave up Mitchell too. So they gave up 2 firsts and a promising receiver. I mean, it's just exorbitant.
Obviously they're out on him. I mean,
yeah,
I
but
don't know
still,
if
it's just an exorbitant cost.
I'm giving up that kind of capital for a game wrecking edge. And a game-breaking receiver, and I don't know about
maybe
much
a
more.
left tackle.
Well,
if your quarterback's
although that
getting hit
never
a lot.
happens, right? Like that's But
I
yeah,
mean, corner is one of those positions.
it's an
that's
important
up
position.
there,
It's an
but
important position, but it's not a 2 first-round pick position for a very good, but not like he is not Ramsey of 6 years ago when the Rams did that, and you're like, oh man, right? I mean, to me, Ramsey of 6 years ago going to the Rams, that was like, and they won the Super Bowl. That was like, okay, I get it. This one, and again, the Rams are also in better position to me to win it then than the Colts are now. I mean, if Daniel Jones, I understand it was one game and he's been really good all year, but like he did have a complete turnover meltdown in the last game. Like, what if there's a little bit of regression to what he's been? I mean, all these scrap heap quarterback stories don't all turn out the exact same. I mean, they might have just bought trouble.
I think, it's as much about confidence in Daniel Jones as it is about confidence in their system. He's thriving because he's in a system. Well, it's not unlike the Tannehill story that you mentioned. Like Tannehill thrived because they put him in a system where they really emphasized the best things that he does. And Jones is doing that. I haven't looked at the Colts schedule, but they're certainly in good position in their division. And
they play in a bit. I mean, they're going to get.
I mean, they're better
12,
with
13.
Sauce Gardner than they are without him. So if you put aside the price they paid, they're going to be an interesting team to watch.
But to me, you better make a real run this year, and also Daniel Jones better really be that guy. Like
for this year.
You just signed up for both of those things.
Yeah, long term.
All right, we come back. We'll wrap it up with Paul Kuharsky, Robby, and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Final segment, Robby and Rexrode here, 102.5 The Game with Paul Kuharsky. Go ahead, Paul. What do you got? Go ahead.
Truly sad day for Joe Rexrode.
Yeah, I gave you this information,
As
by
a
the way.
player that he thought could have been the Titans pick 11th overall when they took Peter Skoronski is just now on the street. Do you think that the Titans should bring in Hendon Hooker? And after you say yes, do you think he should displace Cam Ward?
Bring him home, Titans. Bring him home.
Is this your biggest
I'd like to see
Tennessee homer moment?
I'd like to see a competition. Hendon Hooker and Cam Ward. No, look, in all seriousness, obviously I was wrong. I mean, I was Ryan Leaf be way better than Peyton Manning, okay? Like I've been wrong a million times about draft prospects. That? Oh, yes, I did. So I'm fine with that. But I do feel bad for Hendon Hooker, and I'm surprised just because, look, that Tennessee offense makes quarterbacks look better. It can, right? But, that same offense, I'm watching Jackson Dart in this league, and I'd say right now he's exceeding my expectations based on what I saw from him at Ole Miss. Hendon Hooker, at least no question in my mind, like a good guy to have in the locker room, a talented quarterback, a guy who should be a QB2 in this league. But I don't know.
I would think so.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but
I would think so as well. What move did Carolina make that eliminated his spot?
I'm not sure. I only saw the release, but I do it. But quickly, I had to get to some people who are responding to you, so I want to make sure that we let some people have their voices. Devin and Dixon said, "Damn, PK's out here catching strays this morning from two-tone bluers." Justin says, I want to see the team win. I know this clown shows what it is, but the rookies we have are playing well. It should give us a ray of hope for the future. Another text says, I don't think it's rooting to lose as it is trying to grasp onto anything that could be viewed as a positive, like the number one pick for this horrendous franchise. Matt in Nashville, I don't cheer for the Titans to lose. I just use the first overall pick as the light at the end of a long, dark tunnel of inevitable disappointment. Let's call it a coping mechanism or hedging the bet versus happiness.
Well, that's a nice articulation by those people. But your coping mechanism is starting, how many months in advance of the fruits of that result. Just seems like you don't have any patience, not these people specifically, but people who have no patience for Cam Ward's development have all the patience in the world to wait for the number one pick in April. It's kind of contradictory. They're already calling Cam Ward a bust, the guy that they got as a reward for getting the number one pick last year, but they can't wait to get the number one pick in the next draft again.
Interesting. Trey, can you sort this out for us? Trey's on the phone line driven by WellsingHigh.com. Trey, what's up?
Hey, guys. Hey, I would love to say that I would love to see Hooker come in here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he's not doing anything right. He can come in here, compete for the job. It can't get any worse than what we have right now. But what we have right now is a poop show. That's what we have. We had one piece to trade in Jeffrey Simmons, and he talked Miss Amy probably into not trading him. Now look what we got. We got nothing. We might have the first round pick, which we should. But I don't think that we're going to do very well.
Well, you have Jeffrey Simmons.
I know we have Jeffrey Simmons, but we don't have anybody else that's worth a poop. So
thank you for restraining yourself there, Trey.
Yeah. Take care, Trey.
Love you. Hey, I love you guys. Y'all have a good day.
We love you too.
Thanks, Trey.
Especially Joe.
All right, bye.
Trey, I'm actually somewhat pleasantly surprised he didn't really rip Cam Ward there, but I'm not surprised he would say, Hendon Hooker, come on in and take Cam Ward's job.
Well, I mean, you primed him for that years ago when you thought he should be the 11th pick in the draft, maybe.
Hey, I did say, I will say this, and I mean, I'm still not looking right, but I did say clearly that I liked Hendon Hooker as a prospect better than Will Levis. Still not right, but
Will Levis
maybe
is
in
still
some
under
way,
contract in the NFL.
That is true. Well, we wish the best for Hendon Hooker. So big press conference today. You're going to be heading over there, Mike Borgonzi,
right
talking.
Now.
I'm glad that you had to bring up this Brownlee stuff. They never addressed Brownlee, and that doesn't look great right now.
Will Mike be, grumpy Mike that we saw with Chad, or up there alone? Will he open up?
So Chad won't be there
It'll be
today.
interesting. No
Just let Mike
Just
talk.
Mike.
And I think that's probably a good move for the Titans. All right, when we come back,
We're not coming back.
We're not coming back. When we come back on the station, we got Next Man Up with Jake
Don't
Lyman,
lock
fresh
your
from
locks.
Paris.
Be sure to lock your locks.
102.5 The Game.